Weddings are meant to be a celebration of love. But what if someone or something showed up uninvited? This is the story of a wedding that turned into a nightmare. Welcome to POWERFLOW, where we uncover true horror stories that prove even the happiest moments can hide something terrifying. The air buzzed with excitement. Laughter and chatter filled the reception hall. Allie, radiant in her white dress, danced with her new husband. It was perfect until Aunt Chelsea arrived. A whirlwind of bohemian clothes and cryptic pronouncements. With her was Rob, tall, gaunt, unsettling. His eyes drank in the room. His smile never reached those eyes. A dark shadow in the joyous light. His gaze made their skin crawl. He muttered strange comments. The unease intensified. Gifts were unwrapped, toasts made. One gift remained, Aunt Chelsea's. Later, Allie received a call from Chelsea's number, but the voice wasn't her aunt's. A raspy voice whispered, "Such a beautiful bride. She'll be even more beautiful soon." Then silence, just heavy breathing. Allie couldn't shake the feeling of dread, the call, the whisper, the breathing. It all felt wrong. She confided in her husband, who tried to reassure her. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe Chelsea had lent her phone to someone. But deep down, Allie knew something was terribly wrong. The next day, news spread like wildfire. Aunt Chelsea was gone, vanished. The last anyone saw of her, she was arguing with Rob outside the reception hall. Witnesses said he was yelling, his voice a low growl. Then, they were gone. No one saw them leave. The police were called. They searched, questioned, investigated, but Rob and Chelsea had vanished without a trace. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The fear that had gripped Allie's heart refused to let go. The unanswered questions echoed in her mind. Who was Rob? Where was Aunt Chelsea? And what did that chilling whisper mean? She couldn't escape the feeling that something terrible was looming, a storm gathering on the horizon. The story took an even more sinister turn when news broke about a local man, Kyle. His ex-girlfriend, Trisha, had taken him to court. Her reason? A teddy bear. A harmless, cuddly teddy bear that Kyle had gifted her. But this teddy bear held a dark secret. Hidden within its soft fur was a tiny camera. Kyle had been secretly recording Trisha in her own home, violating her privacy in the most insidious way. The case sent chills down Allie's spine. It was a stark reminder of the unseen eyes that could be lurking in the shadows. How many people were being watched, their lives invaded without their knowledge? The incident with Kyle and the teddy bear brought a new wave of fear into Allie's life. The unanswered questions about her aunt's disappearance, the creepy phone call, and now this. It all felt connected somehow. The world seemed full of hidden dangers lurking just beneath the surface. Months later, the fear returned with a vengeance. Allie was home alone, her husband away on a business trip. It was late. The house was silent, except for the ticking of the grandfather clock. Exhaustion tugged at her eyelids, but she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every creak and rustle sent shivers down her spine. Then she saw it, a figure standing at the edge of her vision, a woman. Her face was obscured by a dark veil. Allie froze, her breath caught in her throat. The figure moved closer, gliding silently across the floor. Panicked, Allie scrambled back, her heart pounding. She fumbled for her phone, her fingers trembling. The figure stopped, its veiled face turned towards her. Then, it was gone. Vanished, as quickly as it had appeared. Allie was left trembling in the darkness, her mind racing. Was it real or a figment of her imagination? She didn't know, but one thing was certain. The fear was real, and it was closer than ever before. The unsolved mystery of her aunt's disappearance, the creepy phone call, the lurking eyes of hidden cameras, and now this veiled figure. It all pointed to a darkness that she couldn't escape. Have you ever been to a wedding where something felt off? Or maybe you've seen a guest who shouldn't have been there? Tell your story in the comments. And if you love true horror stories, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications, because here at POWERFLOW, even life's biggest moments can turn into nightmares. See you in the next one.